all of our identities are at risk. And this is something that the consequences have gotten more difficult for people. I want to start with two pieces of low-hanging fruit. When should you carry your Social Security card on your person? Okay, I didn't have anything to say, except if, let's say, you're starting a new job and they need to see it there. Or you're doing some kind of government document where, like a passport, they want to see your Social Security card if they did. Be very, very wary anytime you give your Social Security number to anybody. And carrying it with you, big bad idea. Because if it gets stolen, Social Security numbers have become the de facto national identity system. And it's why they're so central to what identity thieves do. So you don't want to have it on your person as a practice ever, unless there is a specialized circumstance. You need to take it somewhere just for that time, and then you take it back home and lock it up. Ours is in a fire safe. Second, this came up recently on the podcast, maybe about 5 weeks ago. Do not carry a checkbook. This is serious as a heart attack. You do not carry a checkbook. Checkbooks are like the biggest nightmare of identity theft there is, because this is the weirdest thing. Somebody can steal your money and then you get arrested and have to go hire a defense attorney and have a criminal record because somebody stole your checkbook and wrote checks as if they're you. Terrible problem. People get arrested all the time as innocent victims of check fraud. The system is broken with checks. As much as you can, never, ever write a check and never mail one. If you have to write a check for some special circumstance and you feel you have no choice other than to mail it, in either case, use one of these black gel pens that make it very difficult, and they sell them at, not just office supply stores. They sell them all different places now. What they do is the way that gel ink, that black ink bleeds, it becomes very difficult, if not impossible, for criminals to engage in check washing, which is a terrible problem. I see news stories every single week where, really, if I looked every day, I'd see them from around the country where somebody's check got stolen, was washed, new payee, new amount, their bank account gets cleaned out, and they go through trying to move heaven and earth to get their money back in their account. Checks are dangerous. When you're paying bills now, as I talked about, if you heard the prior broadcast on this check problem, pay directly at the website of who you're paying online rather than mailing a check. In fact, there are some issues with financial institution bill pay services that you do with your own financial institution to do bill pay. If they are not paying it electronically to who you're paying to, it becomes dangerous for you to use that bill pay service because of the problems of theft of mail. Set up a credit freeze if you've not done so yet. Credit freeze is something millions of Americans have done, but many, many, many more millions of Americans have not. Our information has leaked in data breach after data breach after data breach. And if you don't put in place a credit freeze, a criminal who can buy your information online for as little as 40 cents can turn around and apply for credit as if they are you. Very important Credit freeze is free. It affects none of the credit you already have. It just makes you go through additional steps when you do want to apply for credit in the future. If you go to clark.com/credit freeze, we'll show you how to do it. Debit cards are something that you should use sparingly because debit card fraud is ugly. And if somebody gets your debit card number, the money's coming directly out of your checking account, and you've created a lot of danger for yourself, and then have a very hard time because the bank's already paid the money out. They don't like giving you the money back, and they fight tooth and nail against you. Even though the law has specific requirements, the burden of proof falls on you, and you may not ever be able to get your money back that was stolen using your debit card number. When you shop online, use one-time use only virtual card numbers. Even if a website gets hacked, what the criminal has is useless because they may have intercepted a one-time use code, one-time use number that is of no use to them moving forward. That's why I love all the financial institutions that are now offering one-time use numbers for online shopping.